Brazil, the largest country in South America, home to the Amazon, Carnival, and football legends. But beyond what you already know, Brazil is hiding some genuinely surprising facts that most people have never heard. Let's get into it. And stay till the end because fact number 10 will completely change how you see this country. Every country in South America speaks Spanish except one, Brazil. When Portugal and Spain divided the New World in 1494 through the Treaty of Tordesillas, Brazil fell on Portugal's side. That single political decision 500 years ago is why 215 million Brazilians today speak a completely different language from every single one of their neighbors. You probably knew Brazil has Carnival, but the scale of it is something else entirely. Rio's Carnival alone attracts over 2 million people per day onto the streets. It runs for 5 days and generates over $1 billion for the city in that single week. The Sambadrome Parade, where Samba schools compete, is watched by 70,000 people live and broadcasted to over 200 countries. Nothing else on earth comes close to the scale. The Amazon rainforest covers about 60% of Brazil's total land area. It is so vast and so dense that it produces roughly 20% of world's oxygen, which is why it's often called the lungs of the earth. It also holds around 10% of all species on the planet, many of which haven't been even discovered yet. Brazil essentially owns the most important ecosystem on earth. Brazil shares a border with 10 countries, more than almost any nation on earth except Russia and China. And yet, Brazil has never fought a war with any of them. In a continent with complicated colonial history, Brazil managed to resolve almost all its border disputes through diplomacy. Today, it holds one of the longest records of peaceful borders in the world. For a country this large with this many neighbors, that is genuinely remarkable. This is one most people don't know. In 1808, when Napoleon invaded Portugal, the entire Portuguese royal family packed up and moved to Brazil. Rio de Janeiro became the capital of the Portuguese Empire, making Brazil the only colony in history to ever host a European monarchy. The king liked it so much that even after Napoleon was defeated, he stayed for 13 years. Brazil essentially became the center of the world for over a decade. Sao Paulo has the largest Japanese diaspora community in the world outside of Japan itself. Over 1.5 million people of Japanese descent. This began in early 1900s when Japanese immigrants came to work on Brazil's coffee plantations. Today Sao Paulo has entire Japanese neighborhoods, Japanese restaurants, Japanese festivals, a completely unexpected cultural fusion that most people never associate with Brazil. Brazil is so large that it spans four different time zones. The country stretches nearly 4,400 kilometers from east to west, roughly the same width as the continental United States. This means when someone in the western Amazon is having lunch, someone on the eastern coast is already finishing their afternoon. One country, four different clocks. Brazil is the world's largest producer of oranges and supplies roughly 40% of all orange juice consumed globally. The state of Sao Paulo alone produces more oranges than any entire country in the world except the US. So the next time you have a glass of orange juice anywhere in the world, there is a very real chance it comes from Brazil. 1960, Brazil did something almost no country has ever done. It built a brand new capital city from nothing in under 4 years. Brasilia was designed from scratch in the middle of an empty plateau, planned by urban planner Lucio Costa. The entire city was designed in the shape of an airplane when viewed from the above. Today, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the only modern city in the world to hold that status. Brazil is the most biodiverse country on the planet. It has more species of mammals, freshwater fish, and plants than anywhere else on Earth. Over 100,000 animal species, 40,000 plant species, and new ones are still being discovered every year deep in the Amazon. No other country comes close to this level of natural diversity. And now, the myth. You have probably heard that the Amazon River is the longest river in the world. For over a century, everyone believed the Nile was longer. But here's where it gets interesting. In 2007, a group of Brazilian and Peruvian scientists remeasured the Amazon using satellite data and claimed it is actually longer than the Nile River by about 100 kilometers. The scientific community is still debating this. Neither side has fully conceded. So, the fact you were taught in school that the Nile is definitely the longest river is actually still an open question. Brazil might be home to the longest river on earth, and we're still not sure. So, how many of these did you already know? Drop your score in the comments. If you got 7 or more, you genuinely know Brazil better than most people. Next week, we are heading to Canada. And I promise it's not just about maple syrup and hockey. Subscribe so you don't miss it.